Be cool, everybody. Be cool. Wonder Years reboot. It's time to talk about it. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Klepcx FM, brought to you by WeAreCritiX.com, a place where we talk about movies, television, and pop culture. And if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you hit the subscribe key and that notification bell so you can be up to speed about everything that I talk about here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight was the premiere of the new ABC Wonder Years reboot remake that a lot of people have been dreading, including myself. I'm not going to lie. Don't exclude me from this because whereas I'm supposed to be or should be biased, a lot of times things come out or things get announced that I'm like, ugh, really? For example, Lost Boys. It's getting a reboot. For those of you who know Lost Boys. But let's talk about the Wonder Years. And what did I think of? No, well, before what did I think? Let's talk about what it is. Okay, the Wonder Years reboot is a reimagining of the original Wonder Years, which starred Fred Savage. At the time, he was a young kid. Now he's a grown adult and a director who has had some hands in directing the new one, which I found out. Now let's fast forward to where we are now. ABC is making a reboot, and it is starring an all-black cast, which takes place in Montgomery, Alabama, of 1968. When people saw this trailer, and I'm still getting the comments, guys. If you go look at my my trailer reaction when this first was announced, came about, still to this day, I am getting all kinds of negative responses on that trailer reaction, not because of me, but just in general about the actual show and the fact that it's even being remade. People aren't with it, but it's out. The first episode aired tonight, the pilot, and some of the reactions that I'm seeing are pretty positive. But let's get into what did I think about this. And no spoiler. I want to give a spoiler disclaimer, but I'm going to try my hardest to not spoil a lot of things. I mean, there's really not a lot to really spoil. It's like a 30-minute episode, so let's get into it, guys. There are some cool things in this thing that I really enjoyed. I love the nostalgia because I love seeing period pieces. I love the family dynamic. I love the positive family dynamic that the new kid Dean, which stars Elisha Williams, is his name. He reminds me of how young and naive I was as a kid in the 80s, in the 90s. That part I really loved about it. Seeing the world through Dean's eyes. It was the best thing about the show for me. And there's even some cool Easter eggs in there that kind of put you in a place and set up things in the time. Like when he's on the bus and he gives the girl that he has the crush on, gives him the comic book and says, "Thanks for letting me borrow this." For those of you who know, that comic book was Avengers 52, the first time Black Panther joins the Avengers. Thought that was an awesome nod. The dynamic between him and his friends. He has a friend, Brett, a white kid, who they see the world differently than the adults in this thing. And this is probably the part that I like the least, but at the same time I like it because at least they give you Dean and Brett and those kids to kind of counteract the thing that a lot of people were afraid of, which was that this thing was going to be race driven because of its setting. It's 1968. Of course, there's going to be issues about race. There are still issues about race today, but back then, we're talking about the civil rights movement. We're talking about riots and police brutality and just horrific acts, things of that time. I mean, the show even ends on a very dreadful note, and we'll get into that. But I want to talk about how in your face this thing really is. It's very bold. It's very in the time, this is where it's very different from the original Wonder Years, because the original Wonder Years kind of plays like a Christmas story. You know what I mean? Like, it's this one kid in his coming of age story, being a kid in that time, and he's dealing with love, he's dealing with bullies, he's dealing with school, he's dealing with parents, he's dealing with siblings. A lot of light, hard American stuff that we as Black people don't have the privilege of. Not saying, like, not a lot of us have the privilege of, remembering such great memories in those eras, in that time. So it's very double-edged sword. It's kind of like it's comfortable in moments, and then it's like, I want to watch this thing and I want to enjoy this. I want to have a nice American, Black American family show that I can watch and kind of just smile when I watch it, and just not so much as forget the past, not so much as dismissing the past, not so much as forgetting who we are and where we've come from, but every once in a while I just want to be able to watch things about us, about our past, that aren't so heavy. And I found myself conflicted with that while watching this series. Like, I enjoyed it. I thought it was well written, well directed, well casted. Everything was on point. But it was just so, I don't know. Just it's in your face. It's what we all expected. But it's not what I really asked for. I should say it's not what I asked for. Not saying this isn't going to benefit someone else, or maybe work for someone else who wants to see this, maybe wants to pass this knowledge on to someone, and kind of use it as a learning tool. But for me, I've seen a lot of things. I've watched a lot of movies. I've seen a lot of television shows. I've read a lot of books, and I was hoping for something different, more along the lines of, everybody hates Chris, but excuse me, we've already gotten Everybody Hates Chris. What do I think? Did this show even need to be called The Wonder Years? No. It feels different. Yes, it has a similar style and storytelling, but it could have been something else. It did not have to be The Wonder Years. So let's just get that out of here. And then the ending. It ends on a very dreadful note, because we get a history lesson of something that happened in the same period. I'll spoil it for you guys if you don't want to know. Like, please cut this off, go check it out, come back if you want. But 1968, we get the assassination of the great Martin Luther King, and that's how this episode ends. The very first episode, the pilot, right off gate. And they show the effects of that with Dean's family and his friends, his peers, and people who know his mother and father and things of that nature. So it's bold. It's in your face, guys. And I'm curious to see where this thing is going to go, and how much more of that is going to be incorporated, or is it going to lighten up a little bit? I'm very interested in that. So I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to give it at least 2 more episodes before I make a real decision on whether or not I'm going to continue watching this thing. But I'm going to straight up, like, the first episode really had me conflicted, because we've had a hard last year, and we're still having hard years. And a lot of people have had terrible last few years. So it's like it's strange to me that they want to keep pushing this narrative on us, and segregating Americans and people in general. So yeah, man, it was entertaining. It was funny. I laughed a lot. A lot of nods. The dad is hilarious. A lot of you guys might know him from Psych. It's really one that gets you thinking. And that's the question. It's like, do I want to be thinking while I'm enjoying this show? That's where I'm at right now. Like, I don't know how I feel walking away from it yet, because we knew this is what it was going to be. I already had these expectations, and they gave me exactly what I was expecting, what we all thought. So I honestly want to know what you all thought. So please, down below, drop your honest comments. Ask your questions. I don't care. Just like you guys have been doing on the trailer. I'm really curious to know, what are people feeling about this? Because it's good. It's not bad at all. It's well written. It's well directed. It's well casted. It flows, but it's very in your face, and it's going to be. I have you under the impression that it's going to be in our faces a lot every week. So I want to know how we all feel about that. Guys, like, comment, share, subscribe, please. And for more movie news, television news, pop culture, and my podcast, Critics Talk, guys, make sure you check out wearecritics.com, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.